Even though we're not exactly at the midway point, I think we pretty much have an idea how every major move this offseason is kind of panning out. Now, some of these moves are working perfectly, some are still a little bit of a question mark, and some are just a complete disaster. I'm not going to touch on every single move because that would be way too long and some of them are just boring, but most of the major moves I will touch on. Now, before I get into every major move, if you guys are new to the channel, like the video, subscribe, turn on notifications. All that stuff helps the channel. It's about to be a whole new year and I'm trying to be a lot more consistent, so if you guys can do that for me, it definitely helps me out. So without further ado, let's get into the video. To me, the Rockets with Russell Westbrook, they haven't really looked anything like I didn't already expect. If you look at their stats, they're almost the exact same team with the faster, more athletic point guard. Last year, the Rockets won 53 games. This year, they're on pace to win 54. Last year, they were ranked 28th with 16 assists per game. This year, they're ranked 29th with 15 assists per game. Last year, James Harden took 24 shots a game. This year, James Harden takes 24 shots a game. They're almost identical. The only thing I see that's massively different with this team really is their pace. Last year, they were ranked 24th in pace, and this year, they're all the way up to 3rd. And we really all know why. Russell Westbrook, his athleticism and the tempo he plays with throughout the game, that's going to speed up their offense, and that's the only difference I really see. With this move, I think it's fair to give them a solid B. You don't really see any drop off or really any significant improvement or anything like that. They have a lot more energy with Russell Westbrook, but the team is pretty much the exact same, so I'll give it a B. Chris Paul to OKC. This has been a major success to me, especially given everything they lost. This team lost their 2 best players, and they're the 7th seed and 2 games clear of 500. As much hell as Chris Paul gets for underachieving, not being healthy and all that stuff, I have to give it to him. He's been amazing for this team so far. I mean, he's been a great mentor and a great example for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and a lot of their other young players. He's averaging 16 points and 6 assists. He hasn't missed a game all year. You really can't say anything bad about Chris Paul this year. So for OKC, losing both all-star players who weren't ever going to bring a championship there anyway, getting Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Danilo Gallinari, who's both averaging 18 points plus, and Chris Paul, and getting like 20 picks between Houston and LA for like the next 10 years. This team is set up nice, and they don't even have to tank to get nice, so you have to give this team an A+. The 76ers, to me, they're just a massive disappointment, man. Ben Simmons, we all know he's great in transition. He's great running and getting out on the break and all that stuff. But in a half-court setting, he's still a major liability. Consequently, that kind of makes the Al Horford signing look a little bit idiotic. With Joel Embiid already struggling in the paint because of the spacing, it's really just a big traffic jam with 3 6'10 plus guys because the point guard never shoots. Also, the 76ers lost 2 of their best shooters, so that really doesn't help. They're 5th in the East right now, and I still think they'll get bounced in the 2nd round, maybe even the 1st, because I don't see any improvement. With all their offseason moves and losing key players and getting Al Horford and basically turning him into Kevin Love with Cleveland, I'll give them about a D because I don't really see any improvement, and I don't think they're getting out the 2nd round. Now, for the Miami Heat, who basically stole Jimmy Butler from Philly, right now they're 24-8 and they're on pace to win 61 games. Bro, when I tell you I did not see this coming in the slightest, I mean, I didn't see this coming in the slightest. Like, when Jimmy Butler signed with this team, I really questioned how much does he really want to win versus just having his own team. I was kind of questioning, like, is he just selfish? Does he just want to be the man and all that crazy stuff? But it's working out. I also really didn't know how his attitude would really blend with a lot of young, unproven players, but so far all those questions have been answered. Right now, the Heat has 7 players averaging 12 points or more. 7 players. They also have 9 players averaging 8 points or more. I don't know what Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra, what they do to guys' prize and all that, but it's almost San Antonio like. When you go to that team, it's like your pride goes out the door and it's simply about winning. I mean, it's just 100% clear that this Jimmy Butler move is just an A+. It's an A++. And to me, this is a dark horse finals team, especially in the East. So I'm going to make a video about that tomorrow. I don't want to get too much into it, but stay tuned for that because I think this team is for real. Last year, around this exact time, was basically the time where the Lakers fell completely apart. LeBron popped his groin in that Christmas game and had to miss time, and the Lakers just couldn't keep it going in his absence. This year, I mean, we can just clearly see this Anthony Davis move was an A+. I mean, you can just see it. Defensively, they're a top 8 team. LeBron is obviously a lot more engaged on that side of the ball, and LeBron having another reliable superstar, that was imperative. He's 35 years old today. By the way, happy birthday LeBron and all that. He's 35 years old, so you can't ask him to do it alone. He needs another guy. I still think they have minor tweaks to fix. I don't like that LeBron is so passive early. Like, I understand he's trying to get Anthony Davis and everybody else involved, but sometimes when you're that passive, it's kind of hard to turn on your switch and kind of turn on your scoring mode, and I think he kind of struggles with that at times. So they have minor tweaks and all that, but ultimately the move's an A+ move, and we can see that. The Clippers with Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, I would have to give this move a B+ to an A-. I think they've been great in some major big moments, but it still feels like we've yet to see the best of them. And you may be wondering, like, what are you talking about? This is an A+ move, whatever, but this is honestly a compliment. With teams like the Heat, the Lakers, the Bucks, the Celtics, all these teams that's going on these crazy win streaks, we may have seen their very best. With the Clippers, I don't even think they've hit their peak yet. Like, even when they beat the Lakers, Paul George didn't play that first game, and in the second game, he didn't even play great. Lou Williams didn't play great. Watch when they get clicking on all cylinders. I mean, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think this team is going to win an NBA championship, and that's no disrespect to the Lakers. I just have that much respect for Doc Rivers and this team. I think collectively they're a better team with a better bench and more reliable players, and that's just that. So for Kawhi Leonard's low management and me not really thinking I've seen the best of the Clippers, I'll have to give it a B+ with the potential to be an A++++, because I think this team is going to win it all. We've just not seen it yet. The Utah Jazz, they've been a little bit of a disappointment to me this year, and more specifically, Mike Conley. As I said in my last video, and I don't mean to bash this man repeatedly, but he's only averaging 18 points on terrible shooting splits, and the Jazz are 8-3 when he doesn't even play, so I don't know how much they really even need him. And as I said in my last video, if you look at the player he replaced and the player that replaced him, aka John Morant and Ricky Rubio, they're both playing significantly better, so that makes the move look even worse. The Utah Jazz, I believe they're 20-12, they're 6th in the entire Western Conference, and I'm not even that confident that they'll get out of the first round. So with them signing Mike Conley, I'll have to give that move a D- because it just doesn't seem like it's working out. And lastly, the Boston Celtics moving on from Kyrie Irving and getting Kemba Walker. This to me is easily a top 2, top 3 move of the entire offseason. It's not the biggest name, it's not, it didn't get the biggest headlines, all that stuff, but typically when you lose a star, especially a star with the magnitude of Kyrie Irving, your team kind of goes downhill, and that's just kind of how it happens. But the Celtics, they were able to replace him with a more low maintenance, less diva-like all-star who pretty much put the team in a better position. Right now, the Celtics are right behind Miami with that second best record in the East. They're ranked 4th defensively, and they have 3 players averaging 20 points or more. Last year, they only had 1 player averaging 20 points or more, and we all know who that was. And if you add Gordon Hayward in it, they have 4 players averaging over 15 points. Last year, they only had 1 player averaging over 15 points, and again, that was Kyrie Irving. I think the Celtics getting a player who was way more appreciative to be a Celtic. He went to UConn, he picked the Celtics. Kyrie Irving never even asked to be a Celtic. That was a big move, and you can see it paying off. You can even see like Jaylen Brown, he's finally coming into his own. Gordon Hayward, that move is finally paying off. Like, everybody collectively is playing a lot better with Kemba Walker, and I hate to put it all on Kyrie Irving, but this move is clearly an A++++. Now, I know I missed out on a lot of these teams like the Nets, but Kyrie Irving's really not even playing. Kevin Durant's going to miss the whole year, so you really can't give that a legitimate grade. That's like, that's just not fair. With the Warriors and D'Angelo Russell, it's kind of hard for me to grade that because I can't grade D'Angelo Russell with Stephen Curry, Draymond, and Clay, so it's hard for me to give that a grade. So I basically just pick teams that, they're at their complete form and you can really grade them. If you guys like this video and agree, make sure you guys like the video and comment anybody that you think I should have touched on or whatever. I'm making a video tomorrow about the Miami Heat, so stay tuned for that and turn on post notifications. That's big for this channel. I hope you guys are enjoying your break. I know a lot of y'all in school and all that, so make sure y'all turn on notifications and enjoy the break, man. Have fun. If you guys like the video, follow my social media sites, do all that great stuff, guys, and until next time, as always, stay tuned.